Welcome back to NBA Today. I'm Richard Jefferson, along with Chiney and Ramona, and now our guy Tim Bontemps joins us. And yes, Perk is still here, but yesterday, Daryl Morey proclaimed that he will not move James Harden for any deal that would not bring back, quote, a top running mate for Joel Embiid this season, and insisted that his plan is for the Sixers to be contenders this season without mortgaging their chances for the following one. So basically, the Sixers have two guys owed guaranteed money in the fall of 2024, Joel Embiid and PJ Tucker. So what could Morey spend all of that extra sweet salary on? Well, look, next year's free agent class could be loaded with options. There's 4 LA stars. You got LeBron, AD, Kawhi, Paul George. They all have player options. You got Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby. They are 2 cornerstones in Toronto. They may be available. And there's plenty more all-star vets whose names will come up. So, Ramona, I'm going to ask you how Daryl Morey is selling a just wait and see to Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, look. I've heard this whole, we got 2 max free agent spots available. Like, you've heard a lot of teams say that. Most of the guys on the list won't get to free agency because they'll sign extensions this summer or before they even get close to free agency. But in this new NBA, with the new CBA that is about to kick in next offseason, there will be a lot of teams and a lot of players that will be available via trade into cap space that you would never even dream of. But this is about, we've already seen some trades where you go, huh, he went for what? What did they give up? You're going to see a lot of players that might become available. And so the risk that the Sixers are taking here is that they can find a great player to play alongside Joel Embiid if it's not going to be long-term James Harden, or if it's not going to be long-term Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey, they fully want him to be on the team for a long time, but they haven't done his extension yet because they're trying to preserve that cap space. And so as we go forward in this new NBA, we're going to say this all the time, cap space might be the most valuable thing that a team can possess, and the Sixers are holding on to that. What that meant this offseason, though, was that they weren't doing deals beyond 1 year. That's why you see Patrick Beverley come there on a 1-year minimum. That's why you see Montrezl Harrell resign there on 1 year. But it's because of they're hoarding this cap space for next year that they're a little thin for this year.
Now, I want to get to you. Yes, I'm talking to you. And no, but that's why, because I want to know what your thoughts are as a player currently. If you are an MVP and they're saying, hey, look, this season, let's just hold on, because we know Embiid's been injured. We know how things can go very, very quickly. It can go south. We're not even talking about James Harden yet. We're talking about mainly how is he going to handle that? How would you handle that as a player?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. That's difficult. That's a tough pill to swallow, especially if you're Joel Embiid. I'm someone that currently dealing with injuries and knowing what it's like to want to be out there, want to be productive, but also knowing that your time is limited and you want to make the most of your time. And I think this whole wait and see is going to be very difficult to process, especially if that means that we may lose some games. Meaning, for the last 5 seasons, the Sixers have had at least 49 wins. Typically, they get over 50 wins a season. And so, yeah, maybe James is feeling some type of way, or however the situation comes. What does that mean in wins and losses? And what does that mean? I mean, he feels good, Joel, because he got MVP. That's something he was working for. But he's also someone that wants to win right now.
He'll be 30 next March.
Exactly. And he wants to capitalize on these next few years, because if you know you've dealt with Knicks and Knacks, you want to make the most of every season. This is something I'm feel to my soul personally. And so I think it's a harder sell than you think, especially knowing the best days could come if it's in 2 years. No, all he cares about is the right now. That's why he fought so hard to be MVP in the right now, because he knows opportunities like that don't come back so often.
I've talked to Joel Embiid a lot the last couple of years about his legacy and what he wants to do as a player. And the things he wants to do are win MVPs and win championships, because those are the things that define all-time great players. And he wants to be an all-time great player. Obviously, as Chiney said, he got that MVP. But 2 years ago, he had to wait most of the season to see what was going to happen with Ben Simmons. Obviously, that eventually became James Harden, but that was sort of a wait-and-see year in total, right? And now you're going into a second year in 3 where the Sixers are essentially saying, we have a chance to be a really competitive team, but we're going to wait and see what we can do a year from now. To me, as an incredibly high-risk, high-reward strategy, maybe it will work out and they'll be able to get guys next summer. But if they don't, I think we could very well be looking at a situation like the one Damian Lillard is in, where he looks around and goes, what am I doing on this team that is not where I want it to be from a competitive standpoint, and I need to look around and survey my options as I get to my age 30 season, and I want to go win championships. That is going to be the conversation we're having all season long. It's why we've talked about the last 3 days on the show, and it's not going to go away until we are confident, and Joel Embiid is confident, the Sixers have a team that can compete for championships for the foreseeable future, and that is not the case today.
Okay, Perk, I want to ask you a question. So a couple of days ago, Joel Embiid said, hey, look, I want to win championships, whether it's in Philly or other places. Are you going to take him winning a championship in Philly or the field? That is my question for you.
I'm going with the field. He haven't even got to the conference finals right now with the Philadelphia 76ers, let alone winning the championship. But I'm taking the field. Can you imagine Joel Embiid with a Jalen Brunson and maybe a R.J. Barrett? I mean, he just need another superstar on the side of him that's going to be reliable from time to time. And we keep talking about, where guys may end up and things to that nature. Again, Joel Embiid just wants to win. He got his MVP. He wants to get a championship. I'm going with the field. There's too many other teams out there with too many bona fide stars and superstars that he could go pair up with and get his championships.
All right, I see it. Chiney, are you taking Philly or the field?
Oh, I'm taking the field. And it's funny because, Herb, you talked about the Knicks. Why do you say I am? Because it's safer, right? Well, you talk about the Knicks. Don't we always talk about how he always goes off in the Garden? He loves to play there, and he just really shows up. I would start looking at where he goes off because he's sort of trying to send a message, but also he's a professional. When he plays for Philly, he is obviously one of the greatest players that we've seen in the NBA. And I think at the end of the day, Tim is right. You don't want a situation where it comes to we've met the end of the road because I don't align with where this organization is going. The Damian Lillard situation is real. We had rumblings for a couple of years, and then finally you hit that break. And I think with Joel, there have been ideas that, hey, is this going to work out? Are you aligning with where he is? If that's the case, then I would not be surprised if the field puts up some really good offers and he feels like that's the place for him to be.
Very quickly, field or Philly?
I'm taking the field because the chances are they're not going to be able to get the kind
There we
of
go.
Joel Embiid that he needs.
I'm going to be the only person who says Philly because I think the one thing we've learned from the Damian Lillard situation is he waited too long. I think Dame waited too long. It should have been done a year or two ago. It's hard to move him now. And I think Joel is the type of player who's always said, I want to be in Philly my whole career. I'd love to play my whole career with the Sixers. He means a lot to them. They mean a lot to him. And I know you bring up the Knicks, Perk, and that's a good point and all that. But they're in the same division. Okay? The trades like that are really hard to pull off.
That is true.
I just want to say that we are still batting 1,000% for every player that gets drafted by a team and says that they want to end their career with that team. That is a common statement.
Not just watch Jokic win a championship.
No, I understand it. And I also watch Dame Lillard want to get traded out. But I don't know who made that highlight packet. Aaliyah, hey, great job. You got me hyped. You had me thinking the Wizards are going to do something. But welcome back to NBA Today. We may not be in Vegas anymore, but it's still some time to make some money on the Eastern Conference win totals. As you can see here, the Celtics and Bucks are atop of the entire conference, followed by the 76ers, and all the way at the bottom, the Hornets, Pistons, and Wizards.
Wow, did you have to do that, Richard?
Yeah, that's it. So look, back here with our crew, let's make some picks, shall we? Starting with you, Chiney. Out of all the teams that we just saw, who do you think goes over their win total?
Over their win total, this might be a dark horse, but I like the Pistons just because you're going to get Cade back. Cade only played 12 games. He's healthy. That win total goes up. You've got Jaden Ivey. You've got a couple rooks. You've got Wiseman. You've got Jaden Durden. You've got Thompson and Najee. So I think that if you look at them, they're trending upward if their star pick plays this coming season, which he's likely to do, right? So I like them. And then on the is it just who's over?
Yeah, just an over.
Okay,
Don't get ahead.
Okay,
you rarely want to answer questions anyway, and now you want to jump ahead. Okay. All right, Tim, we're going to you next. Who you got? I liked yours. Who you got?
So Charlotte Hornets last year won 27 games. LaMelo Ball barely played. Miles Bridges didn't play. Obviously, Miles Bridges will be back for most of this season after he starts the suspension. LaMelo Ball, I will expect to be healthy. Got Steve Clifford as a coach. They're over under 29.5. I thought was very low. I think they're going to be in the low 30s at least. Got a chance to maybe be higher than that. I like Charlotte as a pretty good over bet.
No, I like that too. I think Brandon Miller's looking like an immediate impact player. Maybe not like an all-star or stud, but if he's a guy that can get you 12, 13, 14 points quickly,
catalyst.
Those don't grow on trees. Now, Perk, no one's ever going to listen to you because your record is so horrendous, but tell me who you got.
No, it's actually good. It's actually great. My record is great. I'm going with the Wizards. I'm going with the over on the Wizards. I think it's disrespectful to put them at 24.5 points. I'm going with the over. They're gonna have more wins than that. I believe Jordan Poole is gonna be on the mission. Kyle Kuzma just got his bag. He got something to prove to show why he deserved that bag. And I'm also looking at Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones, who came from Memphis, he is a valuable pickup. So when I look at this Wizards team, I'm like, hold on now. They could possibly sneak into the play-in tournament if you're not careful. You know what I'm saying? Play-in tournament.
I get you. I think the Pacers, for me, they were one of the ones I like adding Bruce Brown. I like, what Halliburton does. They got big depth. They got wing depth. So I kind of like them. I think that they're going to get to, I think they're going to go with the over. They're over 36.5. Now, let's see. We're going to go with the under. So I want to start with you, Perk, as the number one hater on this program, as one of the top haters in all of sports broadcasting television. Tell me who you have going under their total win total.
It's the Philadelphia 76ers. There's too much drama going on right now, RJ, Tim, and Shanae. Too much drama. And I just don't see them getting over 50 wins this season. That's not happening. That's not happening. I think too many guys are being trade talks, all the way up to the trade deadline, and it's going to be hard for this team to focus. I believe James Harden is going to come into the training camp disgruntled, so I got the Philadelphia 76ers going under 50 wins.
I agree with
Big
Perk.
That's what it is.
Cosign, retweet. The last few years have been Eastern Conference Finals or bust for this team. Like, they got to at least be there, and they've fallen short of that. And it seems like they've moved the goalposts backwards. And to me, that means that they're going to be under, most likely.
Ooh, we got two people.
I think the Sixers are a really interesting bet for all the reasons both Chiney and Perk said. I'm going to pick the Cleveland Cavaliers, though. Last year, they won 51 games. They had their whole roster healthy for the entire season. We potentially have Damian Lillard coming to the Heat. The Sixers still should be a pretty good team. Knicks have improved with Dante DiVincenzo. Bucks and the Celtics are both going to be really good. And if the Cavs have any kind of injuries at all, I don't think they're going to win 40 games or anything. But if they win, say, 45, 47, they're going to be a little lower than last year. That's still under the 50.5 total. I didn't feel great about picking any of these unders, so I ended up on...
Tim, what are you talking about? You're talking about my Cavs at under? Did you not see how much money they just paid for Struz? They just got Amani Bates. They just won Summer League, and you're going to take the under on my Cavs. Cavs fans, I will not let him disrespect you guys. I don't care if he disrespects me. But no. I think the Cavs, they're over. I'm not going to pick any under because I am the most optimistic person at all time.
Goodbye.
I am the most optimistic, fun guy. I think everyone is going to overachieve
What else can I
on
throw at you,
everything they're going to do. Nothing.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.